Greetings, fellow Beyonders. I am your humble host and scribe, Sven, and this is Beyond the Worlds Beyond. The primary purpose of this series will be exploring the lore and story within these campaigns. In this episode, we'll be looking at the inaugural episode of the main campaign of The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, titled The Open Door. We'll be doing a quick summary of the episode and then diving into the lore questions that it raises and those that it answers. We start in the past, though not as far back as previously, where Ursulon, having adopted the last name Toma, is working at a tavern. A very classic D&D start, to be sure. Unfortunately for him, and perhaps fortunately for us, though I personally could listen to these folks just play out a mundane day every day and be happy with it, such mundanity is soon interrupted. Hunters, aware of his nature as a wild one, seek to capture him, leaving him fleeing into the night and into the future. We come to that future, 5 years later, in another place, the Citadel. Here we meet Suvi, Sovereign Kedbaraket, our wizard, and the archmage she is apprenticed to. Though expanded, these scenes will be familiar from the preview of The Wizard Then and Now, as Suvi witnesses the return of the Citadel's heroes, meets with Steele, and is given notice of Grandmother Wren's condition and her dispensation to travel to Toma to be with her. As she travels, so do we, and we come to another familiar scene. Ame, our witch, meeting with Melia and Aaron as depicted in The Witch Then and Now, eventually culminating in that heartbreaking question, does Suvi make it in time? This time, finally, we get our answer to that question, and Suvi and Ame reunite as Suvi arrives at Grandmother Wren's cottage in time, though barely so. As Wren fades, they realize her illness is not only the frailty of aging, but the result of a powerful curse. A curse incredibly dark and powerful that has fooled Wren into believing she has shared information she has not, and has also impacted the minds and memories of Suvi and Ame to an extent as well. As time flows strangely, Taro, communicating on behalf of the no longer able to speak Grandmother Wren, relays that to recover and unlock what the curse has caused to be lost will require a sword. A sword they know well, but no longer have. Wavebreaker. The two women will need to find their childhood friend, Ursulon, to begin their quest. But first, an ominous figure draws nearer to the cottage. And thus this episode ends, and wow, can they tell a story, or can they tell a story? Before we start asking new questions, let's take a look at the ones we've asked before and see which, if any, we now have answers for. We do not yet get a deep look into the military conflicts unfolding, but we do get confirmation that it is larger in scale and impact than the preview alone suggested, and that the Citadel is even more militaristic, which is impressive given how martial it already seemed in the preview. I had originally thought that Suvi's parents might have landed in Port Talon, but now we have confirmation that then and now the travel from the Citadel arrived in Silbury. I am proudly vindicated in my beliefs about Taro being Grandmother Wren's familiar and the bestest boy so far of the series. May his constellation shine forever in the heavens of Amora. We have gained hints as to what Grandmother Wren meant by the last one, and it does indeed seem that Ame may be the last of, if not witches, then of a specific subset or sect therein. We also learn that this position or responsibility is the Witch of the World's Heart, though it remains to be seen exactly what that means, though obviously it is of great import. We also inquired about what events could cause Ursulon to fall so far in his own estimation of himself. While that remains unrevealed, we now have a better idea of the time frame, as he has not yet so far fallen 5 years prior to the present. We also learn the answer as to the importance and some of the abilities of Wavebreaker, though we have yet to learn the reason behind its name. So it seems, only a single episode in, we're getting many answers, and there were even more answered in the children's adventure. Though never fear, because we certainly get just as many to replace them. From the top, we need to wonder if the peddler is a reliable narrator in terms of the myths and legends of Amora. He had ulterior motives and was telling tales to entertain, but there seems little reason to doubt that the legends he drew on were intentionally false. If so, it seems we will likely see, if we have not already, sorcerers and warlocks within this world, as he discusses those with the blood of spirits and those who make pacts with them. He also tells that it was only recently, on a historical scale, the wizards deciphered the secrets of their magic. How long exactly has it been? Centuries? Less? On less serious, if no less important to some matters, is Ursulon's glamour illusion only, or does it have physical form? What, if she had dared lean in for a kiss, would Rosalind have encountered? Ursulon has now spent a long time within the mortal realm. Does he consider mortals in matters romantic and or carnal? Or would that still be as alien to him as a relationship with a ghost would be to us? Well, okay, I know some of you out there are all in on that in either case. On similar matters, the exact relationship between Suvi and Silver remains unspoken and interesting, though we certainly now have more clues that there is either attraction, rivalry, or both between them. Something I had not asked in the preview and had meant to was about the marks on Steele's face. Brennan very explicitly does not call them claw marks, but the description certainly evokes such, or at least similar styles of markings or wounds. One's mind immediately leaps to Yoren and his beast shape. Is he the source of these markings? If so, what occurred between them, and is it related to the death of Suvi's parents? Did Yoren or Steele betray Softened Stone and come to blows over it? What is Yoren's fate? Next, we come to Suvi stepping foot upon the road. The significance of roads is hinted at in Preludes when an unseen voice speaks their definition to Ursulon, and is further expanded upon in the children's adventure. Is Suvi stepping on the road a true trigger for any of the dark events that follow, or is that simply Brennan messing with Suvi and Debria both? Similarly, the significance of the 2 iron nails pulled out with the sign falling. Simple foreshadowing or drawing upon folklore? If the latter, we have to wonder in which direction. Iron is often said to protect from fae and spirits, yet at the same time, there are many legends of iron nails being the delivery method for hexes and curses. Were these a failing ward of Grandmother Wren, or were these part of the curse that was laid upon her? Similarly, the twisting and bending of time is hard to read. Is this a side effect of Wren's sanctum interacting with the curse? A sign of how powerful the magic Grandmother Wren is trying to call upon is? Or is this a sign or a direct power of the dark forces arrayed against them? Finally, of course, we must ask what these fell forces may be. Obviously, they're of great power and malice if they can fool and bring low one as powerful as Grandmother Wren, have a hand in the death of Subi's parents, and who knows what other schemes and conspiracies. Their power, the temporal weirdness, and Grandmother Wren speaking of protecting the heart of the world, makes me suspect that the true source of this threat comes from outside of Umora, both in the mundane and the spiritual reflections of the world. Something from far beyond and alien, though certainly with many mortal pawns or minions. We shall have to wait, though not wait long, to see if the approaching figure is one such servitor. That's all for this installment of Beyond the Worlds Beyond. As always, please feel free to throw your own questions and theories in the comments, as I love hearing what others have latched on to. I've been your host, Sven, and thank you very much for listening. Farewell, for now, fellow Beyonders.